Hey, what's up everybody, it's SNipEz. Welcome to part 1 of house number 22. So this is going to be a modern house, which we're going to be using some gray wool and some snow. So what we're going to do, we're going to make the entire house snow first, and then we're going to go through and add this, the gray wool later. So I'm going to start making it by starting off with the door frame. The door frame is going to be a 2 wide door frame, so we should have 2 spots for doors. And then we're going to come diagonal on the right side if we're facing the front of the door, and we're going to have it come up and across just like this. And now we're going to take one more layer of snow and have it come all the way just across the top, so it should look like that. Now we're going to take the snow out on the left side and come out diagonal from the front of the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to make this 4 tall. Alright, now we're going to make some windows right here. The windows are going to be 2 wide, and they're going to start from the ground up. And we're going to have 2 of these. So that's what that window is going to look like. Now what we're going to do is, let's add one more window so we have a little bit more room. Alright, now we're going to have this turn back and have it come all the way back to where it's going to be even with the original door frame itself. And then we're going to stack this up 4 tall as well. Now let's sleep real quick, and I have a bed right over here so we can get rid of this horrible nighttime. There we go. Alright, let's go back to making the house. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have, if we come on the right side, as you can see we have this pillar right here diagonal from the door frame. We're going to have it come diagonal one more and be even with this top block that we placed right here. Now we're going to have more windows kind of like the ones we made over there, over here. But these windows are actually going to start from one block. So they're not going to start from the ground. So we're going to add the same windows. But these are going to be square windows instead this time. And we're going to do a little bit more with these here in a minute. Alright, so that's what those should look like. And one thing we can actually do is move these windows back. I've actually never made this house, so I'm going off what would look better in real time and thinking off the top of my head what would look better. So I think we should move the windows back one more. Just make the exact same windows we just made. And the reason I say we move it back is then we can actually have the overhang right here come all the way across, which is actually going to work out perfectly for us later on. So we're going to turn it coming back, and we're going to add 3 more of these exact same windows. So they should be square windows, a 2x2 block window. Once we have 3 of these, we're going to stop. And let's continue the overhang going up above the windows. And let's take some swiftness real quick. Alright, so what we're going to do is take out our snow, and then right in front of the windows, kind of like the overhang we have up top, we're going to put on the bottom. So it should look like this. And how does that look? I think that looks a little bit better. Alright, so let's add some glass panes into some of these windows, because we haven't done that yet. Like I said, we're going to go through and make this entire house out of snow first. And then later, after we have the entire house complete, we're actually going to go through and replace some of the white snow with the gray wool. I almost said white wool there. I remember those days when I used to use white wool all the time, but now don't even use it at all anymore. So we're just filling in the glass panes. Alright, so now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this, and we're going to have the exact same window this time. One more. But instead of being a square window, this window is actually going to go up 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is actually going to be one of the main windows of the house. And we're going to add 1 more of these, going all the way up. And now we're going to turn it to we're going to have 2 more of these. 2 more of the exact same windows. So let's make 1 more. So that's what our window should look like. And we're going to have the little underhang going down below the windows again. And then we're also going to have it above the windows as well. I love really adding those overhangs like that, because I really think it makes the house look a little bit better in my opinion. Alright, so let's fill these big windows in with the glass panes real quick. Shouldn't take too long. 2 more windows to go. Luckily the windows are going to be too wide, so it takes a little bit less time to place the glass panes down. Alright, so now what we're going to do is let's start working on the upstairs for a minute. We're going to have the from this window block right here, we're going to have it come all the way out to where it's going to be even right here, where we can see 2 blocks of snow from the front. Now we're going to have it come over to where it's going to be even with the last block on the window over here. Now let's stack up these 4 tall. Okay, now let's make the 2x2 windows again. Well, let's actually see how this works out. So these windows should actually be 3x2 this time. Now the ones in the front should be the, let's see. If we move this one over one more. Nope. Alright, so the front ones right here are going to be the ones just like the ones down below. But the ones on the right side over here are actually going to be the ones that are a little bit different. Alright, so let's have the overhang again. So that's what our overhang should look like. That's basically what the front of our house is going to look like on the front side. But we're going to add a little bit more look to it. Don't worry, it's not going to be all squares. So we're going to continue the windows. We're going to add... So when we get to over here for the door frame, we're actually going to add a little overhang like this. So it should come diagonal. And it should be 4 long, so it should be as wide as the door frame itself. Now we're going to have a window just like that. Now we're going to connect this wall to over here. And then we're going to stack up the wall. So how's that look? Let's have the overhang connect with the side wall over here. And then one thing you can actually do is add like a little pillar right there, just for a little more look. Maybe you can even add another window. Another window would actually look pretty good here. So we could do that. It's all up to you. Let's see. Over here, we're going to have it come back too. So on the inside of the house, we're going to place one more layer of snow on the inside. And now we're going to add the exact same windows right here. And the windows are actually going to be just like the ones down below, to where they're going to start from the 2nd floor all the way up. Let's actually move the windows up 1 more block. So let's move the pillars that we just placed up 1 more block. There we go. Now let's add 1 more pillar right here. Let's add a little overhang as well. And then let's connect the top pillars, the top part of the pillars, and then add the overhang. Alright, how's that look? It's looking pretty good so far. So on the left side of the house, we're going to have this come back. Now what we're going to do is add kind of like the big windows that we added over here. So we're going to extend this out 1, 2, 3, 4 more blocks from that wall was originally. Now we're going to start making those windows. So the windows are actually going to start just like those, to where 1 block off the ground. So we're going to add 2 of these windows. So they should be coming up, I believe, 8 blocks from the ground. Now let's turn it. We're going to add, let's add 3 more of these windows. That one needs to be moved up 1 more block. Let's add 1 more of these. Connect them at the top, just like this. Now let's add our overhang after we finish making this wall right here. So again, the overhang is going to go on the bottom and then on the top. Then have it connect to this wall right there. So this is what the left side of our house should look like compared to the right. They're a little bit different. Then what we're going to do is move from this window over here. Just make a plain wall coming all the way to the last part of the door frame. And now we're going to have this come out. Hey, pig. Guess what I have? I have this. I hope in the Title 12 update they make it to where you have the option if animals spawn, because they can get in your way a lot and it gets really annoying. So we're going to stack up this wall all the way up. So it should just be a plain wall right there. What we're going to do is have it come out. So we're going to have it come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And have it come all the way over and connect to this, which we're actually going to have it come back a little bit to this middle pillar. And now we're going to have it connect. So it should look just like that. What we're going to do is actually stack this up 4 tall, because back here is going to be a balcony. So we could add some windows back here. So we need to figure out how big each window should be. So let's see. We could have like a little unique style of window. As you can see, we have the closest ones to the edges are 2. The next one is a 1, and the next one is a 2. Or we could just make this all one big window. Doesn't really matter how you do it. This tiny wall right here is just going to be a plain wall. And the wall connecting the big windows over here is going to be a plain wall as well. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some windows right here. We're going to come diagonal 1 block because we really don't want a entirely like flat back wall, if that makes sense. And we're going to have it come all the way across to the other side. Now we're going to connect these. My swiftness ran out. I'm moving a little bit slower now. And I think we actually make it even on both sides. So you can see this back wall right here is diagonal from each block next to it. Then we're going to stack this all the way up 4 tall. I'm sorry if I am moving pretty fast, guys. I'd probably suggest pausing the video if you're caught on something. So we're going to fill this in with the snow for the balcony. Alright, let's take out our glass panes and use the glass panes for the railing for our balcony. Alright, so I think we should make our door to the balcony on the left side. So our doorway is going to be too wide. And then we're going to put some snow right here so it's not diagonal. Alright, so let's add some windows. So the windows are going to be... let's see, how can we do this? The windows are going to be 3 blocks long by 2 blocks tall. Then we're going to add a overhang to them. So just like that. And then we could actually connect them like this. Just for a little bit more look to it. Alright, so basically that's our entire frame of the house. That's how big it's going to be. So, how much time are we at right now? I have stupid stuff popping up on my computer. So we're at 12 minutes. So let's make the roof and then... Well, let's actually go through and add the gray wool now. So let's sleep real quick. You can also use whatever material you want to make the house. If you don't want to use the gray wool, if you want to use wood or anything like that, you can as well. It will look good with whatever material you use. Alright, so let's put some gray wool for these pillars right here. Only on the inside pillars add them, and do it on the top pillars as well. Let's add the gray to the pillars on the small windows over here, to every single pillar. So go all the way around with the gray wool and get rid of all these white pillars and replace them with the gray wool. Even the tall windows are going to have the gray pillars as well. And I am going to get that inside pillar right here. Don't want you to think I forgot about it. Then let's add it to this pillar right here. So how does that look? We need to continue this one going up. Then let's do the same thing to these pillars right here. To the windows up above. Alright, so how's that look? I think that looks pretty good. So we could do it to this window right here. The one that's like a U shape. We could do it to this one. And then we could add it to this little back piece right there. On the left side of the house, let's get rid of all the pillars again. Basically every pillar in the house that we have is going to be replaced with gray wool. Just to change up the color scheme of it. there's not too many pillars left that we have. Last pillar to go on the left side. Let's continue this overhang real quick on these big windows over to this wall right here. There we go. Now it looks a little bit more complete. I like that a lot better, a lot more. Let's add this pillar right here. The pillars back here as well, replaced with the gray wool. Let's see. We could add the door frame we have right here with the gray wool as well. I'm liking this a lot. Alright, so that's a lot of our gray wool. So I kind of feel like we should use gray wool for the roof, but with a white outline on the edge. So the roof is going to be a little bit unique. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this window that's U-shaped and have gray wool connected to up here. Then we're going to have it come up one block. Now have it come all the way back to the back part of the house and connect it. I'm not sure if I made these blocks over here too tall. I don't think I did. So if the floor is going to be right here, yep, we should be fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is all of this is going to be window, and then let's use snow to fill in everything else for right now. And then I have a couple ideas what we could do with the rest of the roof after we fill all this in. This is kind of going to be like the inside part of the roof. So from the inside of the house, you're just going to see a flat roof when you're actually inside of it. But then on the outside, it's going to have a little bit more look to it, which is something new I usually don't do because it takes more time. But houses that take more time usually end up looking better just because you actually put more time into them. So after we get done filling all this in, like I said, we're going to go through and add more detail to the actual roof itself. Alright, let's do the same thing with this side over here. When you get to the gray wool area that the window is going to be up top, you can just go diagonal from it. It's not really that big of a deal. You really don't have to get under it. It all depends on what you want to do and what looks better to you. Alright, so now that we have the roof made, I think what we should do is we're going to make a roof with, let's actually get rid of this window right here and replace it with snow for right now. We can always go through and add a window later, but just for the sake of trying to make it look better off the start, we're just going to fill this in with snow for right now, and then we might go through and add a window later. Again, this is only for looks right now for the inside. Alright, so one thing we should do is on the second block, to where we have one block showing on each corner, we use snow going all the way around the house. This is one of my favorite things to do with a roof, just because it gives it a little bit more look to it from the outside. And then what we're going to do is use gray wool for the rest of everything. Let's turn it again. You should have one block showing for every corner and for every side of the house. When we get to the window right here, let's get rid of the gray wool we added. It should just be a U shape. And now let's replace it with the snow for right now. And we'll go through and change that. Okay, now what we're going to do, since we have the outline of that laid out, we're going to take our gray wool out and then have it come diagonal, one block in front. And now what we're going to do is do the exact same thing we just did, but this one should be even with the blocks on the corner of the house this time. And then we're probably going to fill the rest of the house in with gray wool, or the rest of the roof. I mean, there's several more ideas that we could actually do to make this look better, which we actually might do. I'm thinking of some new ideas as we speak. Misplaced a couple of those. Alright, so how's that look from the outside? I think that looks pretty good. So what we can do is fill the rest of this in with the gray wool. Missed a couple blocks there. And this is why I did add the snow for the original roof for the inside, which is so you wouldn't see the top part of this roof from the inside of the house. So we're just going to fill the rest of this in. And I think what we should do is add a white outline in front of the gray wool to match with the rest of the house. But that's just like an extra step. You really don't have to do that if you don't want to. Just fill this in. It shouldn't take too long. It's not that big of a house. Some might disagree and say it's a pretty big house, but in my opinion it's kind of a little bit smaller house compared to other houses I have made. I always say this, but everybody's interpretation of what a mansion and what a modern house is, or like a small modern house or medium sized house, everybody's view of that is different. Like some people would say this is a mansion compared to some of the houses they make, but in my opinion, I've made a lot bigger houses, so I consider this a small modern house. But again, some people have different views, and so leave a comment on what you think that the house is. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, it's a pretty small house, but in your opinion, it might be big. So just leave a comment down below saying what you think it is. Alright, so let's go through and add a outline of snow in the front of the gray wool, just for a little bit more look. I think from the sky, this will actually make it look a little bit better, having this white outline to it. It actually might make it look better from the outside as well, not above, just because it overhangs the house one block, which we will see here in a second if it looks better or not. And let's see. So how's it look? Doesn't look too bad. Alright, so I think there's a pretty good spot to stop the video. So thanks for watching, guys. Please rate and subscribe. Stay tuned in Friday for part 2 of how to make house number 22. So thanks for watching, guys. Please rate